got done fucking, not we actually, Aaron just got done fucking killing back. I trained before he got here today, and we filmed this shit, and you know, he had a crazy ass workout, strong as fuck, and you're doing kind of a different kind of training. You're doing more low volume, like Dorian Yates style. Why don't you explain a little bit your theory on?
Okay, so a friend of mine, my buddy, IFBB pro Russ Allen, he came to stay with me for his pro debut a few months ago.
Right.
The Tampa Pro, Tim Gardner's Tampa Pro.
Okay.
And you know, he was explaining to me, I do this low volume training, and it's like, you know, all muscle groups twice a week. You know, that's nothing new.
Right.
But it's like 7 sets for a workout. And the idea is like complete muscle failure with heavy weight as quickly as possible. But what he tweaked about it is like, you know, there's that time under tension theory. So basically, like if we do 3 sets, let's say for chest, you know, we'll do a chest movement like a bench press. You know, it's 4 seconds down, explode up. 4 seconds down, you know.
Really working that negative.
Right. So you do like, we'll do 2 straight sets like that. And then the 3rd set is what he calls it. He calls it rest pause.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you'll basically do the same setup, 4 seconds down, come all the way up, and go till you die, you know, like around 10 reps or wherever you are at the heavy weight. Then you sit up and rest for a short break, like 15 breaths, like around 25 seconds. And then you go right back to it and do the same thing again, and you die. And then you come up and rest again for a short break, then you go again, and then you die, and you go till you die. And that's it. So instead of trying to drop the weight and keep getting more and more volume and more reps, you're just working those fast twitch muscle fibers.
Right.
And
just demolishing the muscles quick as possible.
Yeah.
But still using heavy weight.
Yeah, use a lot of heavy weight.
Right.
And it's crazy because the pump comes real quick and real hard.
Right.
And then like it's over. Your workout's over. I mean,
Right.
it's crazy. And then you go eat. You know, when you're working out and you do like a high volume workout, it's like digging a 6-foot hole, like with depletion, the glycogen stores. You know, you're just depleting yourself. You know? And then when you're done, obviously you do shakes and you eat and whatever. And it's like typically you'll put like 4 feet of sand in this 6-foot hole because it's hard to eat out of that high volume workout and completely recover. You know. And so he was telling me, well, instead of trying to dig like that 6-foot hole, why don't you dig a 2-foot hole? You know, and put that 4 feet of sand back in with your food,
right,
and make 2 feet progress. It's fucking crazy because for me, being tall, being full is like my nemesis.
Right.
You know, every tall guy being full is their nemesis.
Right.
So,
and putting size on.
Yeah. And
I mean, when you put 10 pounds on, it barely shows.
Yeah.
You know, you're 6'7", you know, fucking, you're over 300 pounds, right?
About 305, you know.
Yeah. And if you miss a meal or you just fucking, right? You just go down.
Start getting shredded, you know, start looking like a swimmer.
Yeah, but you're shredded before you lose a pound, so you're probably actually, you know, losing.
Right. I look better when I'm fuller, straight up, you know.
Yeah. It's crazy because, in my opinion, I believe that the best genetics to have in bodybuilding is to have that kind of metabolism where you have to eat constantly, and the more you eat, the bigger and fuller you get. And, you know, no matter what you have, you always like kind of think, well, I wish it was this way for me. This is, you know, because it's a lot of work either way. But at least in your situation, you just fucking eat. You don't have to worry about, oh, fuck, I'm getting fat, or shit, I gotta, you know, because when you have that kind of metabolism, you don't really know the exact perfect, you know, situation, because you know, you start to get a little bloated and fat off. I got to pull back, and it's like, oh shit, now I feel like I'm, you know, there's a constant back and forth. But the kind of metabolism you have is just fucking, you just need to eat. You just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's crazy.
And you know, your only downfall is
and that's what I'm saying. So with these low volume workouts, I don't get overly depleted, so I'm able to make more progress with my meals.
Right.
You know, doing these high volume workouts that I've done for years, and have served me really well. It's hard to gain and grow, but as soon as I went low volume, man, I started putting size on it.
Another thing that's a good pointer though is that a lot of times whenever you try something new that your body's not used to, you're going to get that growth spurt because it's something different. And no, I think my theory is no matter what you're doing, you're going to have to mix it up. You know, like in other words, this is working now, but there might come a time where you start to plateau, so you got to switch it.
Sure.
You know, and then switch back, and then because I don't think anything will work forever.
I agree.
You know, your body will get used to it. That's what the body does. It tries to, you know, adapt and overcome what you're doing, and you know, you want to fucking keep your body from adapting. So, so I'm sure, you just keep going. As this keeps working, you keep going, keep going.
Right.
And if the time comes that you start to plateau, your strength's not going up, you got to switch shit up.
Well, you know what? That's actually the same philosophy I have. You know, people talk about, oh, what about like muscle confusion and shit? You need to find out what works, stick to it, run it into the ground. When it doesn't work, then make a change.
Right.
You know, people trying to change up shit too often, you know, it's whatever.
Your body just starts to get results, and then you're fucking switching. It's like you didn't get the body.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. You know, that's exactly how I look at it too.
And everyone's different, and you gotta really take the time to learn your body. I think a lot of people, they go online and they read shit and they follow it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they follow what this guy's doing, what that guy's doing, and they don't really keep track of what's working and what's not working. They're just following whatever it is. But you got to learn your body and pay attention to your body.
Well, you can tell them that all day long, but you're right. People don't listen to the body. It's like you have. They're not in touch with their body whatsoever. They don't listen to what it's what it's saying and doing. I mean, you have to really get in there. Like when you're doing your exercise, you got to feel that shit. You know, Arnold used to say all the time, like get inside the muscle.
Yeah,
get inside the muscle.
That pump and that squeeze, and you got to fucking be sore the next day. And you know, it's kind of like people constantly, probably same theory. They see your legs and they're like, dude, what do you do for your legs? And then you tell them and they go do it, but they're not paying attention to what's happening while they do it. You know, and if I said, hey, what do you do for your quads? Your quads are, huge, and you're a tall guy. Obviously, you're doing something right. Well, it could be genetics. Maybe you're not doing something right, but I'm assuming you are. So you tell me this is what I do. Well, I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to see how I feel. Do I get a pump? Do I this? And maybe for me, that's just not going to work. Maybe I don't get a pump. Maybe the next day I'm not sore. And I'm like, fuck, it's working for him, but it's not necessarily working for me. And I think people, that's what they do. They just follow. They ask advice and they follow it without even realizing it might not be working on you. Like me and you, we have to eat different, totally different. I can't eat everything I want all day. I can't eat eight meals a day and stay shredded. I got to add cardio. I got to do other things. So, that's an example that our metabolism is different.
Yeah.
We got to eat different. Same with training. You got to figure out what works best for you and not just listen to what everyone's telling you.
Yeah, man. And nowadays, it's like there's so much crap out there on the internet. Like if you were going to listen to somebody, listen to one person, try to completely absorb what they're doing, and then decide for yourself by listening to your body, is this working or not? You might only get one thing out of it. Like that's what I'm doing. You might get one thing out of it. Like if you and me work out, you might have like this awesome routine that makes you grow 100 pounds of muscle, but I might only get one thing out of it.
Right.
Well, it's worth it to me.
It's going to work.
That's worth it to me. If I get one thing out of training with you, then I'm good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because this is how it works.
You just got done doing a show, right? What show did you do?
Yeah, man. I did the All South.
Right.
In classic bodybuilding.
Right.
And won the overall, so that was cool.
It's always cool to win the overall.
Feels good, man. Feels good, because it's like you grind so hard. I wasn't gonna do that show until like just a couple weeks before, and I said, you know what, I'm doing nationals. That was the goal, do nationals. And I thought, let me just do a show, make a test run, make sure everything's just right. And it went good, and like I said, won the overall. And then I went into nationals and got like third call-outs or whatever. So I think I was a little too, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I was a little too big for the class. They wanted a smaller framed guy.
Right.
And they wanted, obviously the classic look, and they were just telling me it's kind of hard to compare me to the other guys.
I think when you're on stage by yourself, you can see by the way you pose and the way it's classic physique. That's classic physique. You have the physique, you have the posing down, like everything. But when you're 6'7" and you're standing next to a bunch of guys, you know what I mean? Like you just look like a monster.
Yeah.
Regardless of how good your physique looks or how you just look like a monster, and it's like, that guy's a bodybuilder. What's he doing on stage?
That's exactly what happened. And, it was cool though, because they were like, your legs look like a bodybuilder's legs, and I was like, thank you. I'll take it.
Fuck, you tell me I have big legs? All this time I've been trying to keep my legs small.
Yeah,
damn it.
I'm like, okay, I'm the fucking tallest guy out here, and you said my legs like a bodybuilder? We're good. We're good.
Your legs are too big.
I'll take dead last. Thank you. Okay, I'm out.
Right. I'm sure you were kind of not sure which way to go. Like bodybuilding, class physique. Well, that answered your question. Now there's no fucking, you're not like debating where should I go in bodybuilding, right? I'm assuming that's where you're going now.
Sure, of course. So, now it's like, it's exciting because, I've struggled for years to get enough size, and now they're saying that I have the size. So now I just got to push it a little bit further, and then I can be real competitive.
Right.
I honestly think that I could have probably did pretty well this year at nationals if I would have did bodybuilding, because the supers weren't super shredded.
Right.
They weren't super
Well,
conditioned.
they usually aren't, you know?
Yeah, they're usually not. A couple years ago, when I watched my boy.
I mean, they are, but not like the middleweight
Right.
or light heavies.
I mean, 2 years ago though, it was the best. It was the best class of supers I ever seen. There was like 25 guys and like 15 of them. There was 30 guys and like 15 of them.
Yeah, which usually it's like 5.
Yeah,
4.
or 2. You know what I mean? Like, it was,
Right.
you know, but that you never know. That's how it goes sometimes. You never know like who's gonna show up. It's that day. So
You know, sometimes, you know, people win a show, and it's not necessarily because of how incredible they look. It's that their competition look like shit. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be realistic.
Yeah.
And you can go in the Nationals a year when, you know, the top 10 guys are fucking out of control, and you get 11. People are like, you got 11. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, and then you can go the next year and fucking win, but no one looked like the guys that were in the top 10 the year before.
you know, in Florida, I've been bodybuilding for 15 years since I was 19. When I was 19 years old, I did the Team Colorado Championship, and I won that. So I was Team Colorado in 2001. And then I took third as a heavyweight in the novice class out of like 8 guys, because my conditioning was really good.
Right.
And that was a genetic thing, because I didn't do any cardio, and I only dieted for 2 weeks, and I was peeled and bone. You know, but being tall, it's easy to be ripped. In my most tall guys is shred, you know.
Yeah, it's just hard to be thick.
Yeah, so you know, but I did bodybuilding up until 2010, and in 2010 it was the first time I competed in Florida. I was 242 pounds, and I won the Gainesville, won the overall at the Gainesville because my posing was good. You know, it creates this illusion, you know, and that was cool. So I won overall in that. Then the next year I did the men's physique class. I started the first year. I did one of the first shows and won overall in the men's physique.
Right.
You know, and now I got an overall in the classic.
Yeah,
Classic
which is
physique.
crazy.
So in NPC, like I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone that's won the overall in all 3 classes. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone out there. As far as I know, there's no one out there that has actually won an overall title in all 3 classes: physique, class physique, and bodybuilding. Like, that's kind of crazy, because your body's fucking, you know, it's all over the place.
And that's
in
like
a short amount of time.
And that like tells me that like they like what they see, but they don't know what the hell to do with me.
Right.
I'm so tall. So
you just get fucking huge in bodybuilding.
So that's why I think next year we're gonna get figured out. I'm gonna put some size on, man, and that's what we're gonna do.
Become even more of a monster, right?
That's the plan, man.
And that's where you got to be in the bodybuilding division with the other freaks and be the biggest freak.
Yeah. Then they'll never say, "Oh, your legs are too big."
And you can still fucking do, you know, the classic posing, and you know, it's gonna make you stand out even more.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I don't think there's a lot of that kind of posing in the super heavyweight class.
No,
You know,
I'm just
you
in
don't really
bodybuilding
see-
period. You
yeah.
know, really.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, you know, they don't put much into their posing,
Yeah.
and I get tired of watching it. You know what I mean? It's just.
It's you know, be honest, you know, when you go to a show as a spectator, you're pretty fucking bored. You know, I mean, you have better time going to the movies and watching a movie. I hate to say it, but
No,
it's
you're
true.
right. No, you're right,
You
man.
know?
I mean, I tell people all the
Until
time.
the super heavies come out, then you're a little excited, and then the overall pulls down. The rest of the show, you're just like, fuck.
Right. I totally agree. Like I tell people all the time when they come watch me, I'm like, look, man, these shows are pretty boring for the most part. There's going to be a lot of horrible posing. You know, there's going to be a lot of guys up there that you're looking at like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, and it is what it is. And most guys just think, oh yeah, I look great. So they got their buddies at the gym telling how great they look, wherever they're coming from, and then they forget that how am I going to go from here to my next pose? You know, and then I get.
It looks like they're almost making up the poses as they go.
They
right?
probably are. They probably are, man.
Like we were talking about earlier, the transitions. You know, it's like transitions. It seems like they're not even something to factor in anymore. People don't even think about transitions. And during the mandatory poses, there's a thing called transitions. And I think a lot of people out there aren't aware of that. They're just aware of front double bicep, front lat spread, you know, and they just concentrate on that pose. But what do you do from one pose to the other? It's a transition, and the judges are looking at you the whole time. So
You know, that's what I tell people. I'm like, I don't dance, I transition. You know, like I just, because I don't dance, man. I ain't got a bunch of moves.
so what's the plan? What show? Next year, right? Probably.
I want to do national shows, you know, but I got to still do. I would like to win the Florida State. I would love to win the Florida State. It'd just be cool to be Mr. Florida, you know.
I think that would be a good plan. Is hit the Florida, hit the USA, and hit the nationals.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you're not going to win the USA.
Yeah.
That's just your plan. In case you don't, you're already on. You already have it planned out. You already have enough everything. Preparation and so forth to continue going. And the most important thing of someone trying to make a career out of bodybuilding is you have to keep competing on that national level every fucking year. You got to do the USA's and nationals every year.
Yeah.
You can't take a break. You can't because they forget who you are, the judges. There's a lot of guys that don't see it, or the judges give it to them, because they've been doing it for 2 or 3 years every show, and maybe the guy didn't. I think there's a train coming.
Yeah.
I think there might be a train coming.
Are you sure?
I think so. So let's talk about your diet. Now you have your own meal plan that you put out there.
Yeah,
and,
man. Supernatural lifestyle.
So what you're eating? What tilapia looks like and rice?
Oh, this is my crucial post-workout meal because I don't put any fat around my workout. I just do carbs and protein.
Right.
I do my fats later. Because ultimately, the way that I train, the way that we train, it's very intense. So the body burns through sugar. It's not a fat burning process. It burns through sugar. You deplete it. So I'm just putting the sugar back.
Right.
So, I always have my post-workout shake. And then within an hour, I have my crucial post-workout meal.
Right.
And then that totally recovers me. And then my next meal after that will be a protein and fat meal. And then I go from there. But everything I'm doing is based on the book that I wrote called The Supernatural Lifestyle. I wrote it in 2011, and I published it, the hard copy, last year, 2015. And since I've done that, man, I got a lot of steam with it, and it's really been the foundation for my success because, I don't have, a coach for my nutrition or anything. I just do it all myself.
Right. So what about getting ready for a show? You do it yourself? Wow.
Well, here's the cool thing. This year, every meal that I ate for every one of my competitions came directly from my kitchen that my team prepared for me.
Right.
I didn't have to cook nothing. I didn't have to weigh nothing out. I didn't have to go grocery shopping, go cleaning. All I had to do was tell them, this is what I'm eating, guys.
Right.
And they nailed it.
Makes life easy.
Oh, so easy. If they can do it for me, we can do it for the next person. Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
The worst thing about this sport is cooking, shopping, packing your meals, and really? That's a fucking nightmare.
I mean, it's like a ball and chain.
I don't think I could ever go back to that lifestyle. I hate to say it.
Well, you wouldn't have to. if you decide you want to do it again, man, I'll feed you. We'll nail all your meals. All you gotta do is heat them up. That's it. I mean, it's so much easier than.
No, that's what I do. I'm on the same page. I actually have. I didn't really talk about it, but I have a meal prep company too. Same shit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm on the same page as you, and it makes life so much easier.
It's the best, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, whether you work with me or another company, it's the future. For fitness, because. The idea, we're busy people. We're busy, and I'm not going to stop eating the foods that I want. It's just it has to be with the right stuff.
My biggest thing is getting the word out there that you fucking eat food. That's where it is. You're not drinking fucking protein powders and weight gainer shakes. Fucking eat food. It's something that's just a misconception that's been around.
So it's great you have your own supplement company saying eat food, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And supplements with it, of course, but food first.
So my question is, how many meals are you eating a day?
I do 5 meals and 2 shakes now. My shakes, in the morning, it's a shake that has oatmeal in it, egg whites.
Well, that's good because I was about to talk shit to you.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good stuff, and of course, I put a scoop of API protein powder in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's good for obviously flavoring as well.
Yeah, but you got the fucking food in there. So you got the food. Most important.
And then post workout.
So how many meals?
5 meals.
5 and 2, so 7 altogether, basically, because the shake has food in it. So
it's like 1,000 calories, man. When you add up the carbs from the fruit and the egg, the oatmeal.
Right.
Because I put a cup to 2 cups of oatmeal in there.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. My off season, I eat everything I'm supposed to all day. I eat on my meals like I'm supposed to all day. But then at night, if I eat everything, I want to eat other shit. I love like peanut butter filled pretzel squares.
like Trader Joe's?
God, yeah. Like I power those down, and then
those aren't that bad. You got the peanut butter,
right.
you got some carbs.
Yeah,
you know, it could be worse.
But then I put Kit Kats with it. You know, so like that's it. That's like those are like my two like main cheat foods.
No ice cream?
I eat ice cream a little bit, but not all the time. It'll sit in the fridge for a while.
Oh, okay.
I don't just power through that shit.
Yeah, we fucking eat ice cream. I eat ice cream every night. She goes through phases. Like she'll do it a couple days in a row and then take a week off.
That's kind of how I am with my ice cream. It's like it'll sit there for a while, but those peanut butter filled pretzel squares literally have this big tub of them, and it sits right next to the couch. so I'm laying down at night. I'm like,
where are
you know? A lot of people don't know about me is when I was a kid, man, I had cancer when I was a kid. Had leukemia.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was like way back in the day when it was like experimental.
Right.
I had a good friend. I made good friends with a kid in the hospital that died from the same thing I had, and so I figured out at a young age that like, oh shit, I can die. You know. And so from a very early age, like I want this life.
Right.
I want to live, sort of thing, you know. And but because of that, a couple things happened. Like in my family, I was always treated like the sick kid. Like, oh, are you okay? You never should do this. I always felt like I was treated like I was weak. I didn't like it, you know.
Right.
And then my
stronger, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to be like the athlete, and I was always a smart one in the family, you know. Like, I remember being like, I want to be an athlete like my older brother, you know. And so that kind of like geared me to just like push hard, like everything I did physically, you know. And then I was always in check with myself. People always ask me, "How do you feel? You feel okay?" Yeah, you know. So like I'm very in tune.
Right.
People in the fitness industry are, anyways, but because of that, I was very in tune, and you know, that was that was kind of like the foundation for like me wanting to like aspire to be like this superhero. You know, I didn't know I was going to grow to be this tall.
Yeah, right.
You know, my dad was a big guy.
Did you ever go in the way of basketball just because of the height?
Yeah, I played basketball in high school.
Right.
You know, I was good
Were
at
you
it.
this tall in high school?
I was almost this tall. I was like 6'5".
So you're like the tallest kid in school, probably, right?
Yeah. But you know, I come from a small town in Oklahoma, like Minko, Oklahoma. All right, love you guys. There was like 1,200, 1,400 people in that little town, and there was always like a few big kids every year. Big corn-fed boys. I mean, like there was like nobody in that town, but there's always some big kids.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. Did you play football or just basketball?
I played football and basketball. You know, I was the defensive player of the year my senior year. Made the all-star teams, all district. You know, I did really well in football. I love football. We were a football town.
Right.
You know?
Big time.
Yeah, in Oklahoma. You know,
Yeah.
and then in basketball, we took second in state. You know, I was a starting center, so we made it all the way to the big dance and lost.
Shit.
But so that was a lot of fun.
You had a good fucking high school.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah, it went good. And then, but I knew as soon as I graduated high school, I just wanted to be a bodybuilder, man. I just wanted to be big.
You're a superhero.
That's it.
You're not a superhero playing basketball.
No, you know, people all the time, you know, be like, you know, you basketball player, you know, for years, the people are finally asking me.
No, goddammit, I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah, right. You know, it went from that to, are you a wrestler? You know, and then I did that for a while, so that was okay.
Yeah, that's right. You fucking wrestled. I didn't even know that shit.
Yeah, I had a contract with the WWE. You know, I'd moved around a little bit. Like I was born in San Diego, so I was about 8. Then that's where I grew up in that little town, Minko, in Oklahoma, until I graduated high school. Then I moved to Colorado, where my mother was. And I lived there till I was 25, and that's where I got into bodybuilding and started competing and stuff. And 25, I realized like I was not going to get anywhere in that town.
Right.
So I just up and moved to Las Vegas with like $200 in my pocket.
Oh my god! Why Vegas? What was?
Because I thought I was going to meet somebody there that would let me pursue my dream to be a pro wrestler or get somewhere.
Right.
I thought I'd meet somebody there. You know what I mean? I thought I couldn't
afford.
afford.
Be seen a lot.
Yeah, I was like, I can't afford California. I knew I couldn't, so I was like, I could afford Vegas. You know?
$200. I don't know if you can afford it anyway.
Yeah, right.
But you had a better chance.
I had the will to succeed. Okay, that was like really all I had going for me, you know. And I had like all my clothes and a blanket and a pillow in my car, and I was just ready to like do the deal. And I made it, man. 2.5 years later, I got my contract, and they flew me out here.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
so it worked.
Yeah.
Your fucking plan works.
Yeah, and then here's the deal. Here's what happened. So I was wrestling, and 6 months into it, I tore my ACL after I already broke my nose and sprained my ankle and all kinds of shit, you know. And then so they did some different tests on me and whatnot, and figured out that I got a strain of hepatitis from some blood transfusions I got when I was a kid.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and it turns out that it's curable, but it takes like, at the time, 6 months of chemo. Now they have a 3-month deal.
Right.
And it's not a contagious thing, and it's not something's going to kill you. That's why there's a cure for it.
Right.
If it was going to kill you, they wouldn't have a cure for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? But the cure is like, it's like $1,000 a pill. It's 90 pills. So I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and ride this out until you have like a 2-week cure or something.
Right.
You know, because it went from 6 months to 3, and I don't know about you, but I'm not too worried about something that they have a cure for.
Right.
I mean, they can't cure the common cold, but they can cure strain hepatitis. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what kicked me out of wrestling, because they're like, all right, there's nothing. This really isn't going to change your life, but we can't insure you. So that was like, because they wanted to keep me, but
right.
That was it. So then that was the basis for me learning nutrition and reading my writing my book. You know, that was really, I wanted to heal myself, because there's some people that have kicked out hepatitis because it's this is a liver issue, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought I was going to do. So, I mean, I'm not going to win the Nobel Prize for curing myself with, you know, hepatitis with some foods or whatever, but I came up with a pretty killer way to eat.
It's like you're doing good, man. You got your own business, and you're fucking hustling here, and, you know, you're living the bodybuilding lifestyle.
That's it.
You enjoy what you do. That's most important. You know, most people don't enjoy what they do. They hate their job or whatever it is they're doing, and you're just doing what you want to do. So that's one of the, I feel that's one of the greatest things in life, is to actually be able to make a living doing what you love, because it's so rare.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I think I've been very lucky in my life, because I pretty much always was doing something I loved. I never really had a shitty job or something where I was like, fuck, this sucks, I hate my life. You know, I always was just doing something I enjoyed and making a living off it. And I think that's one of the hardest things.
I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, no one can tell you what that is either. You got to decide, right?
Right.
Like, this is what I want to do.
You got to know what you want. Some people out there don't have any idea what they want.
You're being very business-minded. Most bodybuilders are like,
trophy.
I'm gonna win this show and
Trophy.
I'm gonna be a millionaire. Like, no, that's not how it works, dude.
It's terrible, man, because, you know, it's just gets worse and worse, you know, as far as making a career off of winning trophies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the sponsorships aren't like they used to be. Everything. It's not. You know, it's getting harder and harder. You know, it was hard enough before, but now it's just getting.
That's the thing, you know, like, okay, so I just got flown to Chile,
right?
You know, and got asked to guest pose at their 30-year national bodybuilding championship. You know, and like, I'm not a pro athlete.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I felt like really blessed to have that opportunity. It was fantastic. Those people down there are amazing.
Right.
They were so warm and welcoming, and like that whole trip, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you know, for years I've always been like, you know, I want to be a bodybuilder, and now it's sending me around the world to do what I want to do.
Right, but see, it's not necessarily the bodybuilding. It's because you have a different look, and you have a niche that other people don't have.
Sure.
So, you know, makes you stand out.
Which is crazy. It's crazy to think, because people told me for years, Rich, like, what you taught me about it.
Never be a bodybuilder. Yeah, but see, when you become a bodybuilder, you're one of the hugest bodybuilders there is. So, you know, you're going to be, it's either going to be, you're not going to be a bodybuilder, or you're going to be a really huge popular bodybuilder. And it looks like it's going in that direction.
I'm starting to fall into place a little bit.
You're making it happen.
Yeah.
And the more people tell you can't fucking do it, the more you're going to fucking, motherfucker, watch this.
That's totally how I feel. Like, if you don't want to see me succeed, don't tell me I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to see me get there, like, don't tell me I can't do something. You know, you better off, like, you know, not saying nothing. Because
it's good if they tell you that shit. It just motivates you to be like, you know, to even fucking push harder.
Like, you know, like, I always listen to that quote from Muhammad Ali. He's like, I'll show you how great I am. You know, it's like, Muhammad Ali, man, that dude. A lot of people talk shit about that guy, but he was a hard-working son of a bitch, man. And, you know, there's the whole, like, oh, he dodged the draft or whatever. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want to go either.
I wouldn't either.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go either.
I mean, you know, it's like when you're a pro athlete and you got your life together, you don't want to go.
My dad didn't go because he got married and had me. Okay. And so I saved his ass.
Oh,
cool. Supposed to be fucking doing something for me in return. I was kidding. I kept him from having to go.
That's how it goes, man. You know, so yeah, man. So it's good, man. But it was great, you know, train with you, get some videos in and stuff, man.
It was fun. It was a good experience.
Like, I appreciate it. You know,
had a good time, man.
Getting to know you a little bit and stuff. You know, it's fantastic. I'm glad you're here at Powerhouse, man. It's awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. This is an awesome gym. Awesome group of people. You know, it's good to be around people that motivate you. You know, that's the whole thing, is you want to be in a gym where there's other incredible physiques and
Yes.
you know, incredible people that are going to motivate you and keep you pushing forward. You know, I think a lot of people, it's funny because when I came to Florida, all the people that I know, that I knew before I got here, I, you know, of course asked them, where do you train? You know, where do you train? And every fucking person I asked, the answer was LA Fitness. And I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, why the fuck is everyone training? Why all these guys train LA Fitness? And then talking to people, and one of the people I talked to was like, yeah, you know, Powerhouse, it sucks, you know, there's cliques of people, you know, and they think they're too good for you. And then I realized what the reason is. The reason is because they're not the big fish in the sea. You know what I mean? At LA Fitness, they're the big fish. And they're walking around, everyone's like, oh, you look so good. You know, and that's what they want. And they come here and no one's really paying attention. No one, they're feeling a little insecure because there's people that look better. And so that's their mentality, you know. And, you know, my mentality is I want to go where there's better people. You know,
Well, you
pushing.
You have a successful mentality. I mean,
Right.
that's what separates you from everybody else. And it's like, you know, when I first started coming here, man, like right after I done wrestling, like you got to see photos. I was like 45 pounds lighter,
Yeah,
you
right?
know, and I was in good shape, you know, whatever. But it's so cool to see, like, this place drove me to be the bodybuilder I am today.
Yeah.
Being around a lot of talent,
Monster,
you know, a lot of, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy how it works. But I totally agree. It's funny, you know, like I would rather be around the best. I'd rather be like, you know, the weakest, make less money, the dumbest guy in the group that I hang out with,
Right.
so that I'm only going to go up.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people look at it that way.
Yeah, no, I prefer to hang out with people that have more knowledge than me in all aspects, you know, and for me, it's not bodybuilding so much, it's more, you know, a business sense and, you know, success and being around people that, you know, have far succeeded what I've done, you know, so I can pick their brain, learn from them and, you know, and just continue, you know, going in that direction, you know. As a bodybuilder, I did the same thing, you know, hung around with guys that were bigger that, you know, turned pro, and I was still trying to turn pro, and you know, pick their brain, find out what they're doing, you know. And same thing with you now, you know, you talk to other people that own businesses, and you know, you're always going to learn something. You know, they're gonna give out something that you're gonna be like, oh fuck, I never thought of that, I never realized that.
Right, because I totally agree. It's like that's one thing I figured out about you real quick. He's a sharp guy right here. He's smart. Might look like a big crazy animal that doesn't know much, you know, but dude, you're a smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy. I mean, it's like you actually have that as an advantage because then you're like the one they don't see coming.
Right.
It makes it better.
Yeah, it's never judge a book by its cover, right?
You can't, man. You know.
Cool, brother. Well, I had an awesome time. It was good fucking training,
Yeah, man.
and
We'll do it again sometime.
yeah, for sure, brother.
Yeah, man.